60-year-old waitress is fired for helping owner disguised as homeless. Maggie had worked at Sonny's Diner for nearly 40 years. At 60, her hands bore the scars of decades of hard work, carrying hot plates, scrubbing countertops, and offering warm smiles to the endless parade of customers who came through the doors. The diner wasn't just her job, it was her life. A place where she knew everyone's name, their orders, and their stories. It was a cold, blustery Tuesday morning when he walked in, a scruffy man wearing tattered clothes and a heavy coat that seemed older than Maggie herself. He carried a duffel bag and looked like he hadn't had a warm meal in days. Heads turned, whispers followed, but Maggie only saw someone in need. "Coffee's fresh," she said, motioning him toward the counter. "Come warm up." The man hesitated, as if waiting for someone to kick him out. Instead, Maggie poured him a cup of coffee, sliding it across the counter with a plate of toast. "On the house," she said, her warm smile unwavering. He looked up, his eyes glassy. "Why are you doing this?" he asked, his voice rough but soft. "Everyone deserves a little kindness," Maggie replied. "Besides, the coffee was made to be shared, not wasted." The man nodded, but before he could respond, the owner of the diner, Mr. Reynolds, stormed out from the back kitchen. His face was red with anger. "Maggie! What do you think you're doing, giving away food for free?" Maggie stepped back, startled. He looked like he needed it, Mr. Reynolds. "We're running a business, not a charity," he snapped. "This is coming out of your paycheck. In fact, don't bother coming in tomorrow. You're done here." The words hit Maggie like a freight train. Fired? After 40 years? She opened her mouth to plead but caught sight of the man, who sat frozen, guilt etched across his face. Instead, she swallowed her pride and nodded. "Understood," she said quietly, taking off her apron. The walk home was long and bitter. What would she do now? How would she pay rent? Yet despite her worries, she didn't regret helping the man. Kindness, she believed, wasn't about convenience. The next morning, Maggie awoke with no reason to set an alarm. But before she could sink into despair, there was a knock at her door. She opened it to find a sharply dressed man standing before her. It took her a moment to recognize him, the scruffy stranger from the diner, now clean-shaven and wearing a tailored suit. "Good morning, Maggie," he said, smiling. "May I come in?" Maggie stepped aside, stunned. "What's going on? Who are you?" The man chuckled. "My name is Daniel Harper. I'm a philanthropist. Yesterday, I was at the diner conducting an experiment, seeing if people still valued kindness. And you, Maggie, passed with flying colors." Maggie's jaw dropped. "You're not homeless?" "No," Daniel said, shaking his head. "But I've been there. Years ago, I lost everything and relied on the kindness of strangers to survive. Now that I'm back on my feet, I make it my mission to find and reward good people like you." Maggie didn't know what to say. Her hands trembled as Daniel handed her an envelope. "It's a small token of my gratitude," he said. "Inside is a check to cover your bills, plus enough to retire comfortably. And if you're willing, I'd like you to help me with a project, creating a foundation to support people who've fallen on hard times." Tears streamed down Maggie's face. She clutched the envelope, overwhelmed. "Why me?" she whispered. "Because kindness, Maggie, is priceless. And the world needs more people like you." Maggie's life changed overnight. With Daniel's help, she co-founded Sunny Hearts Foundation, which provided meals, shelter, and support for those in need. The diner became a memory, but Maggie's warmth and selflessness left an indelible mark. Every morning, she woke up with a renewed sense of purpose, knowing that one small act of kindness could ripple out to change lives, starting with her own.